Good day, and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. It's the end of February. We're 2 months into 2025, and today I was originally just planning on talking about what I read in February. And I realized I didn't actually read that much in February, at least not a lot of books. I got through like 2. So instead of doing that, we're going to combine the next 5 reads video, and of course, viewer's choice poll, and what I read in February in this one video. So stay tuned. That's coming up here on Drew's Book Reviews. Alright, good day, and welcome to Drew's Book Review. So let's talk about, as mentioned in the intro, we're going to be doing both a what did I read in February plus next 5 reads. So let's talk about that. I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget to hit the like, join the Discord down below, comment, love to hear from you. So February is a shorter month. I didn't expect to get through as many books, but honestly I thought I'd finish more than the 2 I actually finished. Well, maybe 3, I guess. 3 that I finished. I thought I'd kind of get through more than that, but it turns out I actually didn't. But you know what? That's fine. Because overall, I would say it's still a decent and okay reading month for the most part. So let's talk a little bit about that. Well, first and foremost, I have been reading like the Dune series, and I started in February the expanded Dune universe. Now, we've done a buddy read down on the Discord, and let's say the ending of the Dune series just wasn't what I remember. But that's okay. I will say that the expanded Dune universe so far is better than the last couple of books in the original Dune series. So in the month of February, I've been reading the Butlerian Jihad. This is the first book in the expanded Dune universe. This goes back to the beginning of the revolt against the thinking machines in the greater Dune universe. So if you're a fan of Dune, you know the Butlerian Jihad is something that has been referenced and what led to the outright banning of thinking machines and artificial intelligence within the Dune universe. So far, this is much better than the ending of it. I'm really enjoying it, and as I'm reading along in the audiobook, and of course reading along in here as I listen to the audiobook, the robot Erasmus, the independent robot Erasmus, every time I think, if this was ever adapted, I could just see someone like Brent Spiner portraying the role of Erasmus. Maybe that's typecasting, but it just seems like a role that would fit him since he pulled off the AI android robot role so well in Star Trek. That's just my thought. Hey, maybe I could, maybe at some point I'll do a fan casting of the expanded universe. I don't know, but anyway, doing the Butlerian Jihad. It's one that I finished, and then there are just 2 other ones in February that I finished in the month of February. So one is The Alienist by Caleb Carr. So this is kind of a murder mystery set in the late 1800s, New York City. There's a murderer on the loose, and it's up to the alienist, what we would now term a psychologist, to discover who the murderer is and help to solve these terrifying and disturbing crimes. So overall, I really did enjoy this one. As far as it being a murder mystery, I mean, I think it's kind of feels like it should be a murder mystery, but as they build their profile for the murderer, they figured out exactly who is at fault here and who the murderer is. To me, the story was more about the process than discovering who was really the killer and catching him in that way. So it wasn't all that much of a mystery. Now, if at the end things have been thrown into a twist and the person they thought didn't really do it, but they ended up catching someone else who turned out to be the actual murderer, or maybe the person they thought was doing it had some other role to play. Maybe they were actually trying to stop him, or I don't know. Anyway, not much of a mystery, because once they determine who it is, that's who it is. And maybe that's a bit of a spoiler if you haven't read it, but I think you kind of get the sense what I'm talking about if you haven't read this anyway. But overall, still an enjoyable read. I did really like The Alienist, the process involved with going through and figuring it out and putting the pieces together. Some I thought were a little bit of a stretch, but overall still a good read. I also picked up the sequel to that, The Angel of Darkness by Caleb Carr. So this is a different mystery. While there is kind of a murder mystery aspect to it, it's not really focused on that. Again, in this case, we know exactly who's at fault right from the start, and so it comes down to enjoying the process of discovery of how they figure out who it is, how they build the case against this individual, and eventually bring them to trial. That is kind of what The Angel of Darkness is more about. This one I didn't enjoy as much as The Alienist, to be fair with that, although still somewhat of a fun and enjoyable read. Overall, not really the thriller or the praise. I mean, a ripping yarn told with verve, intensity, and feel for historical detail. I mean, these are some of the uh, reviews of on back. Gripping, cars that is strong, exploring the dark underside of the human psyche, things like that. That didn't live up to the hype on the back of the book, but when does it ever really do that? Let's be honest. It's very rare the back of the book hype and the little praises on the back of the book ever truly live up to it. But I digress a little bit, going on a bit of a ramble. But anyway, that's what I read in February. So not a whole lot. So now we got that covered. Let's talk about what are my next 5 reads. This is kind of where it gets fun. Now there is one on this pile here that I'm actually not going to be doing any reviews of or including in the next 5 reads poll. And I think you'll get it once I share that out. But I wanted to include this because it is a book that I'm going to be starting, and I'm probably going to be reading it potentially for up to the next year or so, just because it's a thick one. So I'm starting out my reads of Ancient Greek Philosophies, Canterbury Classics collection of ancient Greek philosophers. So this is going to be an issue. I'm kind of breaking it down a little bit each month, just as I kind of go through that. I don't think I'd really include this in my next 5 reads poll or anything like that, but I think it might be for some interesting reading. Although, to be honest, I'm kind of expecting it to be some of it a bit dry and boring, but I'm sure there's got to be some gems in here somewhere. So I'm actually starting out my Canterbury Classics. As it says on the back, wonder is the feeling of the philosopher, and philosophy begins in wonder, by Plato. So we'll kind of see how that evolves, I guess, in my reading, and kind of go from there. Now, in terms of the books that you're going to get a chance to vote on, and again, these are not necessarily in any particular orders, they never are, but I'm always looking forward to hearing your vote on that. So we're going to be starting with the incarnation. We're going to be doing some reading with Piers Anthony. So I haven't read any Piers Anthony for quite some time, but I'm starting with the Incarnations of Immortality series. So that's starting with book 1, which is called On a Pale Horse. I don't even really know what these ones are about. But Piers Anthony is supposed to be one of the classics of the sci-fi genre. I don't even remember where I picked these up. They're definitely used. I think I got them from like a sharing library somewhere. But anyway, On a Pale Horse, book 1 I'll be reading, along with book 2, which is Bearing an Hourglass. Why you'd be bearing an hourglass like that on the top of a mountain, I don't know, but maybe we'll read it and find out. But anyway, Bearing an Hourglass, followed up by book 3, With a Tangled Skein, which kind of looks like some kind of witch. So that ought to be interesting. So we got a witch, which is the woman who wanted revenge. Bearing an Hourglass is the man who lived backward, according to the back of the book. And On a Pale Horse is the man who murdered death. So I mean, just those little clips, I guess, from the back of the book make it sound like these would be some interesting reads and fun reads. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't read Piers Anthony for quite some time, so I'm picking up the first 3 books in the Incarnations of Immortality, as it's called. One of the other books, this is another one that I picked up at a sharing library somewhere. I don't recall where exactly, but it is Omens by Kelly Armstrong. So I believe this is another one of like those dark murder mystery type things. Not sure, but it looks ominous with Omens by Kelly Armstrong. I love the cover on it. It's just kind of like the crow sitting on the fence in a dark, gloomy, overcast sky. It kind of gives the vibe of some kind of dark horror mystery to me. I don't know. We'll see what happens when I read this, whether it is in fact a dark horror mystery. Who knows, right? And then the last one on this list for the next 5 reads that I'm going to be doing is Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary. So this one has been on my shelf for a little bit. I've heard a lot about this, and I am looking forward to get. I believe it was The Martian that Andy Weir did. Pretty sure that was it, The Martian, and I really enjoyed that one. So Project Hail Mary is going to be up next on some of my next 5 reads. Yep, The Martian. There you go, right on the cover. The Martian. Andy Weir did The Martian, and that was a really great read. So I really hope that Project Hail Mary is just as good, and I look forward to seeing what everybody votes on the Viewer's Choice poll. So there you have it. There are my next 5 reads and a little bit of what I read in February. Make sure you head on over to the community tab, check out the next 5 reads poll, and let me know in the comments down below which one of these next 5 reads you want me to review on this channel, and I look forward to doing that review. And of course, What I'll maybe do for the trilogy, the first 3 books, for the Incarnations of Immortality, I might kind of group that as one choice. Just because with series, it's just kind of how it works, I guess, sometimes. Kind of like what I did with the Angel of Darkness and the Alienist in the last viewer's choice poll, just kind of group them together as one choice. Or perhaps I could put the whole series of the Incarnations of Immortality review as a choice. I don't know. Because there's actually more in the series, and a lot of those other books will kind of make it onto the next 5 reads video after this. So anyway, I guess check out the viewer's choice poll to see which way I did it down there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to hearing your comments, likes. Join us over on the Discord. That'll be linked below as well. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, until next time, keep on reading. Bye.